Hello sewing and quilting friends, welcome back to my sewing room. You'll notice that it's looking a little bit bare if you're a regular viewer of my channel, and that's because I'm partway through doing a little bit of a tidy up, spring clean, that kind of thing, and part of that has been getting this lovely Singer sewing machine put into a table, which is what I've always wanted to have. So over the last few months I've decided that this is actually my favourite machine. I've got 6. Ranging from relatively new to 1870s, a hand crank Singer machine, and this one is one of 2 Lotus Singer machines I've got. The other one is in my treadle, and so what the project has been today has been putting this into this Ikea desk. So we have this desk already, and my husband has cut out a hole for it to go in, and I couldn't be happier really, because it gives me a really good working area, and I don't have to move this machine anymore because it's so heavy. So today's video is fairly short to show you how my husband did that. So if you haven't subscribed, maybe do so, or at least watch my next video, because my next video is going to be a scrappy quilting one where I'm going to be using this one, but today's is just quite a short one to show you how we did this. Hope you enjoy it and hope you find it useful. This is a 66K model with Lotus Flower decoration. Victorians were very interested in Egyptology at this time, hence those stunning flowers seen against the black paint. At the time, this flower symbolised quality and prosperity for the Victorians. It is one of the favourite decorations on Singer machines even today. I know from the serial number that this particular machine was made at the Kilbowie factory in Clydebank, Scotland in the early part of 1916, one of 45,000 made in the first half of that year. It is a back clamp, meaning that the screw to undo to change the feet is at the back, not the left-hand side. If you know of a way to find a walking foot for this particular machine, please could you let me know in the comments, because I have not been able to find one. Part of the reason for putting it in the table is so that I can use it for quilting, so I'm quite keen to get my hands on one. This machine would have originally been supplied as a treadle machine in a cabinet like my other machine that you'll have seen in my other videos. I do love the boilerplate on the motor with all of those details on it. I also really love the foot, which is really heavy and doesn't slide about like some modern feet do. So at the time, Singer didn't offer electric motors as standard, so owners could send their machine back from about 1912 to have a motor and foot fitted like this. They could send it to an agent or a service centre for that to be done. The factory employed 16,000 workers and could produce 8,000 machines a week. It even had a foundry where the iron was smelted to make the machine bodies. Linked in the notes are 2 YouTube videos about the factory and its workers that you may find interesting. The first thing my husband did was to make a paper template showing the footprint of the machine and the size of the lip to route out for the machine to sit on. He then routed this out, and he describes in more detail later in the video how he actually did this. He then used a jigsaw to cut out the hole for the machine to drop into. You can see the hole's been cut out now, and the area around the bottom of the machine that's going to sit on that lip.
Two things you got to do. You got to cut a hole all the way through to get this bit through, so it goes through. But then you got to leave a ledge for it to sit on that. Okay, so you just 10mm deep ledge, so that this fits through the hole and this sits on the ledge. So it's almost there. It's about flush, except for little lugs like this, where it's a bit deeper than 10mm, so I need to just take a little bit more out there. So there's a little hollow for it to sit in there.
Right.
And then slowly but surely make sure it's pretty, not rocking, which it is now because those lugs. And then it'll sit flush and flat with the table.
Great.
Famous last words. Clean it up.
You then put the legs back on the table. I should say that those Ikea desks have a metal strip at either end for strength, I think, and we had to make sure we avoided that when we cut the hole out. Here we go. You have no idea how happy you have just made me. So here it is in its little table. It's life continuing. This is all I wanted. Not designer handbags or foreign holidays, but having this in the table has made me very happy. So I'll just show you one more thing which you might have glimpsed in the last clip, which is that my husband also put in these little adhesive sponge pads to just cushion it a bit and make it sit, but despite the fact he thinks this isn't a perfect job, that's not moving at all. So I can't wait to get sewing with it. It's a very grim, wet, cold January day here in the northwest of England. I am not going anywhere today and I am just going to enjoy myself, getting used to having a nice machine in a table like this. If you've got any questions, please put them in the comments. If I can't answer them, my husband will be able to, and he'll be able to give you some more technical information about how he did it. But I hope it's been useful. I hope you've enjoyed watching. In the next video, I'm going to be doing a scrappy quilt, and that's going to be soon. So make sure you're subscribed. Please like this video if you liked it. I am desperately trying to get my watch hours up and get my channel monetized. I've been doing it for almost 2 years now. So like, share, subscribe, click the notification bell, all of those things. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye for now.